Okay, so this is what I've done with the PSA Dagger so far. So as you can see, I bought the PSA Dagger Compact with the serrated slides, the extreme carry cuts, the RMR, the MOS cut optic ready slide, suppressor height sights. So far, I have put on a Harrington Arms magwell. Definitely comes in clutch. The Harrington Arms magwell. Harrington Arms has a lot of really good products that are specifically made for different guns. PSA Dagger is kind of hard sometimes to find specific parts for, so they make a really good magwell that really makes you push up the meat of your hand and really get a good purchase on the weapon. So I would definitely recommend a good Harrington Arms magwell. I definitely put on a Holosun 407K. I go with the 6 MOS green dot specifically. Green dot is much brighter. It's definitely more visible for me, especially since I wear glasses. I have some astigmatism, some nearsightedness, all that kind of shit. But in general, it's just easier to pick up the dot when you're ready to put it on target. When you have the 6 MOA, I would definitely recommend a 6 MOA green dot. I do like the 407C. I did have to buy a adapter plate to go onto this footprint because it comes with the RMR footprint, but the 407K has a K footprint, so the screw set is in a different location. So if you look at the actual screws for the PSA Dagger, the screws are right here, but for the actual Holosun, the screws are back here. So the adapter plate just gives you a new location to put those screws into, so you can attach it to the actual slide. Suppressor height sights help you co-witness. I definitely recommend going with the suppressor height sights in front of the optics plate. That's an overlooked detail a lot of people don't really think about. When you have the rear sight in front of the optic, and of course this is empty, it helps avoid your sight being blocked out by the back optics when you're aiming down sight. The 407K does have like a rear optics cut on the back, or a rear iron sight cut on the back, so you don't have to worry about your rear sight getting in the way when you have your rear sight in front of the optic. So I would definitely recommend going for a slide option that has the rear iron sight in front of the optic cut if you're going for an optic cut gun, or if you do plan on sending your slide out somewhere to have it cut for an optic. Having it in front definitely helps. I also did the Glock factory extended slide release stop in the FDE flat dark earth, also known as dark taupe. If you're shopping around, this magwell actually came in a sniper green, so I actually painted it flat dark earth. You can actually start to see some of the paint is coming off, and the green is starting to come out, but I don't like the way it looks. But anyway, so I put that extended slide on there. I didn't really need it, but I do like it because it does allow me to actually push the slide back without moving my grip when I'm shooting. I can actually just push it back, same hand, and push it up like that. It gives me more real estate with the button pushed out to be able to do it. Really easy to install too. Also, if you know how to take out the the trigger pins, if you know how to take out the block pins, it's really easy to remove the slide stop. So also, of course, I put the TLR1 HL on the gun. I had found a really cheap gun light for $39 on Amazon. It was super bright. It was like 1300 lumens. It was a little bit chunkier than this, but it was basically modeled off of the TLR. But I could not find a holster to fit that light in. Like, it was chunky. Like, it didn't have this flat cut on the bottom. It was like rounded on the bottom. So I ended up having to trade up, get the TLR, which I'm not mad about. I do like the TLR 1 HL. It fits nice. I'm actually going to get a cover for this, something that matches the slide more. I'm going to get a cover for the Holosun too, because I want something that's either flat dark earth or a flat dark earth based camouflage that matches the slide. This one I'll probably do black camo. I think that'll look really sweet. A lot of people are trading out the triggers on these PSA daggers, but I don't mind the trigger. I actually prefer to play with it more, shoot it more with the trigger, because I think a lot of times if you don't know the exact match trigger and you go to swap out the trigger, sometimes you end up with performance issues. So I don't want to replace the trigger. I want the gun to perform how it was meant to with this trigger. You might put a different trigger in that has like a different, trigger connector bar on the inside, or maybe the spring weight is different, whatever it may be, and it just doesn't agree with the rest of the firearm, maybe. But I think a lot of times when people have malfunctions after they start swapping out internals, it's usually the trigger. I like the trigger. I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not too heavy. I believe it's just under 5.5 pounds for the trigger pull. It's got a smooth reset, in my opinion. And what's funny is a lot of times I'll watch videos about people putting in new triggers in their PSA Dagger, and when I'm looking at their reset, it's not that much different than the standard reset that I'm seeing on this gun. So don't sleep on the trigger. Give it a chance. Play with it a little bit more. Get used to it. I got the threaded barrel, but I'm not going to put a suppressor, or I'm not going to put a, what do you call it? No, I can't think of the word. Compensator. I'm not going to put a compensator in the end of it. I thought about it, but I don't want to have to switch out the internal spring and get into that whole thing. I want to try to avoid switching out as many of the internals as possible. I do eventually want to get a personal carry suppressor that they make. 9mm. It fits into a standard holster. It's only about this big. It's personal use. Like I said, if you have to like draw your weapon indoors or inside of a car, it'll muffle it enough so that it doesn't deafen you. So it's not a all the way true suppressor. It is going to muffle the sound, but it's not going to suppress it as much as you might think. But it also does look cool, and I think at the end of the day we want something that looks cool. So that's about it that I've done so far. I do plan on getting a different extended magazine release. This is really the only thing that I really didn't like when I got it, is just the magazine release is really stiff. But honestly, I just spent a few days just pressing it and decompressing it just like that, just sitting there in my room just compressing it, and now it's like it drops right out. It's easy peasy. Like, it works well. I heard some people, they put like a clamp on it or a vice grip overnight with it compressed, but I don't want to do all that. It works pretty well just by pressing and decompressing. So I would definitely say give this a try. I've heard different people list different prices that they purchased their daggers for. I bought mine directly from Palmetto State Armory for $375 for just the pistol. Of course, that doesn't include shipping and taxes and of course FFL fees, but it was just $375, which I think is a really great price. They say this is based off of a Generation 3 Glock platform, which it is, but in all honesty, aesthetically, it looks more like a Glock 19X, because the 19X has the MOS cuts and the threaded barrel. So I think it's a little bit more similar to that, but internally, performance-wise, it does feel more like Glock 19 Gen 3, which I'm not mad at. I do like the stippling, the one finger groove, which it doesn't dig into my finger. It's got a nice feel to it. I've only put about 200 rounds through it. It works very well, held up very well. The only thing that I ran into at the range, and this is either the magazines or it could have been me just accidentally hitting the slide stop, but 2 or 3 times when the magazine was empty, the slide did not stop back. It did not push back and stop itself. So when I went to click the trigger, nothing happened. I had to look inside, see what was going on. There was no jam or anything. It just was not catching the slide. Of course, it could be the magazine. On the inside of the magazine, there is a little, on the feeder tray in here, there's a little lip that's supposed to get caught on here. But in all honesty, I think it might have just been me pushing the lever. So I'm going to take it back to the range and test it out just to make sure nothing weird is going on there, but I highly doubt it. So far, I'm liking the system. I definitely recommend some of the more fancy cuts. I'm probably going to end up putting a gold barrel in here just because the aesthetic wise it looks really good, but I would definitely say give the PSA Dagger a try, especially in this configuration with the rear irons in front of the optics cut with the slide cuts, because they definitely do help with racking the slide. I'm a front racker. I like to hold the front of the gun when I rack. Having these slides definitely helps from all angles. Like it's just comfortable. Like I don't even push the back. I don't like doing this against my optic. I know it's, you know, it's secure and a lot of people do that. I don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. So this is good. You get a lot of leverage from the front of the slide that way. So check it out. PSA Dagger Compact, full size, I believe, is the same exact slide length. It just has a slightly longer handle, but give it a try. PSA Dagger Compact.